Good evening. Welcome to Source 16 News at 10. Thanks for joining us. Well, new this hour, the Christian County School Board approved a plan tonight to make up over a week of missed instructional time due to recent bad weather. The school board approved to not have early release days for the remainder of the school year to make up for the 11 days and 2 half days of instruction. The 6 hours from the early release days will go towards making up 1 instructional day, while 30 minutes will be added to instructional days to cover 5 missed school days. Another action, the school board approved a request to rebid financial audit services under the recommendation of the Kentucky Department of Education that school districts change audit firms periodically to get a new perspective on finances. In other business, the school board received the district's measure of academic progress test results. Meanwhile, the Kentucky Department of Education still has not released the audit report of Christian County High School. We'll have more details coming up tomorrow morning on Wake Up Western Kentucky. In other news, the perception of crime in Hopkinsville isn't what it seems. That's what Police Chief Guy Howey told City Council in his crime statistics report during tonight's Committee of the Whole meeting. Howey noted a significant drop in the violent crime rate since 1985 and blamed the elimination of many bars, nightclubs, and lounges for the decrease. Another hot topic during tonight's meeting involved an urgent need to get times corrected on school zone signs, specifically on Glass Avenue. A recommendation was also made to the committee to purchase school zone signs with LED lights that would flash 30 minutes prior and after school. The timing of the lights would be able to be changed to accommodate longer school hours for make-up snow days. We will have more from tonight's meeting coming up tomorrow morning on Wake Up Western Kentucky at 6. Family, friends, in the Kentucky Division of Forestry are mourning the loss of a forest ranger who was injured fighting a forest fire in Livingston County in September. 58-year-old Donald S. Lamb died today after remaining in critical condition since the accident September 7th when he was injured while working the Scotts Chapel Road fire, a 12-acre wildfire in Livingston County. According to officials, Lamb was injured as he was clearing a fire break for containment at the base of a bluff when a burning snag broke loose on top and rode off, striking him from behind. The impact left him unconscious and with serious injuries, including second-degree burns. The 58-year-old was described as a dedicated forest ranger technician and experienced wildland firefighter who assisted with fire suppression efforts on the local, state, and national level for 12 years. The Commonwealth of Kentucky has upgraded charges against a former Fort Campbell soldier accused of killing a 73-year-old Hopkinsville woman in a fatal car crash last year. 23-year-old Ryan Kristoff is now charged with murder, first-degree wanton endangerment, and driving under the influence, among other traffic-related charges, after his vehicle struck and killed Norma Cook on January 13, 2010 on Canton Pike. Kristoff was originally charged with second-degree manslaughter, first-degree wanton endangerment, driving under the influence, and other traffic offenses. During his murder arraignment today in Christian Circuit Court, Kristoff entered a not guilty plea to the amended murder charge. Assistant Commonwealth's Attorney Whitney Westerfield explained to Source 16 that the reason he sought for the charge to be amended to murder was to be fair and consistent with other past and upcoming cases similar in nature. However, he says he could not get the charge amended without jeopardizing the case. Therefore, Kristoff was indicted by the grand jury on a murder charge. Circuit Court Judge Andrew Self gave Whitney and Kristoff's defense attorney 2 available dates to choose in May and June to ensure experts would be available to testify for both sides during the 2-day trial. Kristoff remains out of jail on bond. After 2 weeks of trying to address the huge bird population, thousands of birds continue to roost in various parts of Hopkinsville. McGee Pest Control Wildlife Nuisance Control Operator Aubrey Esty told Source 16 yesterday that huge populations of blackbirds, starlings, and robins keep returning despite their best efforts to break up their roosting habits.
I don't foresee them leaving until warmer weather hits and they'll migrate north again. So I think we're just going to have a continuous battle until spring. There's still large amounts of birds flying in the evenings. For a couple of days we had some relief when we had the snow, but now the snow's gone, they're right back just as strong as ever. And they remain just kind of right there on that Cox Mill corridor from the old train trestle down to Little River. That seems to be the area that they're really drawn to. So we just try to put a lot of stress on them when they come in to roost at night.
According to Esty, scare tactics like noise-making devices are the best and safest defense to break up roosting habits.
Well, we're putting anywhere from 3 to 4 technicians a night out there shooting these bird cannons, which shoot at about 120 decibels. And then we have just like a little starter pistol that shoots little cartridges up. One will go up and make a loud explosion, about the sound of a shotgun. And then we have some that are called a screamer. They just scream the whole time, and it just scares them and keeps them airborne and kind of keep them out of the trees so they can't find a roosting area.
Esty says the areas that continue to be hardest hit are the following: Latham, Moreland, Alumni, Sterling, and Woolridge Drives, Cox Mill Road, North Sunset, and finally Pardue Lane. City officials are continuing to urge residents to remain patient about the noise-making devices, since it's an effort to deter any health-related issues caused by the massive bird population. The cause of a fire at a popular Western Kentucky Halloween attraction is still under investigation tonight. Graves County Emergency Management Director Jamie Locke told Source 16 the fire was reported around 8 o'clock last night at Talon Falls in Graves County. Officials say the outdoor mazes on the property are deemed a total loss, but the haunted house and hayride trail are still intact. Firefighters from 8 different stations battled the flames that ripped through a total of 2 acres on the property, but Locke says no one was hurt. Officials had the fire under control about an hour after they received the call and cleared the scene around 1 o'clock this morning. Talon Falls draws about 10,000 visitors each year. A Hopkinsville man with a child in his vehicle was arrested on felony drug charges at a traffic safety checkpoint outside of Hopkinsville last night. Kentucky State Police say 25-year-old Jordan Goodman was under the influence and illegally possessed prescription narcotic-controlled substances. According to police, Goodman also had a 4-year-old child in the passenger seat of his vehicle. Goodman was taken into custody around 9:35 and charged with his second DUI aggravating circumstances, possession of a controlled substance, prescription controlled substance not in proper container, first-degree wanton endangerment, operating a motor vehicle on a suspended license, and other offenses. He was lodged in the Christian County Jail. Well, a Hopkinsville High School student was taken into custody by police Wednesday for drug trafficking. A 16-year-old white male was taken into custody around 8 o'clock by the Christian County Sheriff's Department after he admitted to an investigator that he had given about 40 Loratabs to another person while at school over the past few weeks. According to the police report, the juvenile's mother turned him in after she found her prescription meds missing from her home, and he admitted to her that he had been giving the Loratabs to a subject in the HHS parking lot. The juvenile allegedly also admitted that he gave the pills away to be sold and he would be given money from the sale. Investigators say the subject receiving the pills is not a student at the school and admitted no involvement in the crime. He was also warned by police to stay off school property or he would be arrested for trespassing. Meanwhile, 2 other Hopkinsville High School students have been arrested and charged in connection to a burglary at Serafina's Market in Herndon last month. 18-year-old Jordan Lane Stowe of Butler Road and 18-year-old Chris Paul Pettit of Jan Drive were both arrested on warrants by the Christian County Sheriff's Department and charged with 3rd-degree burglary and 2nd-degree unlawful transaction with a minor. According to the warrant, Stoll and Pettit, along with other subjects, broke out the window of Serafina's Market on Lafayette Road and entered the store, but when an audible alarm went off, all 5 subjects fled the scene. Police say 1 juvenile has already been charged and the case is pending in juvenile court. The warrant states the subjects were caught on videotape at the scene and charges are pending on other suspects. A former Fort Campbell female resident was sentenced in federal court for a scheme to defraud the Internal Revenue Service. U.S. District Judge Thomas B. Russell sentenced Brandy Latrice Shaw of Killeen, Texas to 30 months imprisonment and 3 years supervised release for her part in a scheme to defraud the IRS through preparing and filing false and fictitious federal income tax returns. Court records indicate that Shaw and Kimberly Dunham of Fort Richardson, Alaska, formerly of Fort Campbell, participated in a scheme to obtain or help others obtain payment of false claims for refunds from the IRS by causing others to file false 2005 and 2006 federal income tax returns. Dunham pleaded guilty to conspiracy to defraud the United States by filing false claims and was sentenced to 5 years probation and ordered to pay over $37,000 to the IRS in restitution on August 27, 2010 in U.S. District Court in Anchorage, Alaska. Another indecent exposure report is being investigated, but police say this case is unrelated to the other 3 reports over the past couple of months. A female U.S. Postal Service carrier reported to Hopkinsville police Wednesday morning that she was walking her route in the area of West 2nd Street and South Kentucky Avenue when an unknown black male drove up from behind her in a red 2-door vehicle with tinted windows. The victim told police the man told her she looked nice and asked her for her number as he exposed his genitals. According to the victim, she believed the man was in his 30s and he was wearing a wave cap with a baseball cap on top of that and had gold teeth. The military's newest line of special operations helicopters were recently delivered to Fort Campbell's Night Stalkers. Officials say 2 of the long-awaited MH-60M Blackhawks were flown into the local post from a Richmond facility. Chief Warrant Officer 4 Tracy Stapleton says, quote, "This aircraft is a real game changer." In addition, Stapleton says this is good for everybody. It will provide an immense tactical advantage to the aviators and crews as well as the ground forces we support. Officials say the new Blackhawk is equipped with state-of-the-art day and night optics systems, enhanced integrated weapon systems, multi-mode radar with all-weather capability, and new high-performance engines. The new Blackhawks will be replacing the 160 Source existing fleets in the next 5 years.